Hi there, Chris Cannell with ActorBasics.com. So today, in this video, I want to talk to you about survival gigs. I gotta tell you, I think survival gigs is a huge key to making it as an actor. That's the first thing that you need when you come to town. And in my Actor Basics course, I talk about that. I talk about how much money that I think you need and why. And that all ties into, this discussion about survival gigs and so forth. Here's a big trap that I see people fall into when they come to town. They take a full-time job, basically. Or, they don't mean to. They take like some retail job where they have to be at the mall or some, retail center, and they end up working like 40 hours a week and without the flexibility to audition. So on the one hand, they've got the money and the freedom at night to go to class, but that's it. And so what ends up happening is that's all they do is just go to class, and they become what I call acting class actors, which is the topic of another video that I've got. If you haven't seen it, get that. So that's fine and good. Look, I think it's awesome if when you're just getting in and deciding to become an actor in LA, if you have a regular steady gig, and for the first 6 months while you're sort of getting your sea legs about you, you're working that job, you're making good money, you're going to class at night, and you're using all the extra money that you're getting from that stable job to build up your resources, like, paying for headshots and reel clips and, IMDb Pro and all these accounts that you have to get together, to get your career started. I think that having that extra sort of, jobby job to pay for those things is great. But here's the deal. Pretty soon after that 6-month mark of getting on this path, you gotta kill it. You gotta ditch that, because if you don't have some gig that allows you the flexibility to go out on auditions, then you're not doing this thing. You're just an acting class actor. Now listen, if you just want to be an acting class actor, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's some people who all they want is the jobby job and do acting classes at night, and it's a hobby for them, and it's a great avocation, not a vocation. They're not trying to do it for a living, acting for a living, but rather as an avocation, something on the side. And they'll do short films and indie films and stuff that comes up if they have the ability and their schedule to do it on the weekends or whatever. Great, I got no problem with that. However, there's a lot of people whose that's not the intention. They just end up getting trapped into the jobby job. And the jobby job could be Starbucks, for example. Starbucks working at 6 a.m. till 3 p.m. That's not flexible. You got the evenings free to go to class, but when the time comes and you start getting into the action of getting an agent, they're going to want to know that you've got the ability to go out on a moment's notice to an audition. Plus, when you start self-submitting for yourself, you need the ability to go out, within a day's notice. So it's all about having the right survival gig that both gives you the amount of money you need to meet your needs and gives you the flexibility and time to go service auditions. If you don't have those two things, then you're not in the game. You're stuck somewhere. So it's all about finding the right survival gig. Now, survival gigs can be, of course, the standards, right? You wait tables. That's a big one. Better ones, the more premium survival gigs, are ones where you've invested some time in developing a trade of some sort, like a massage therapist or a personal trainer or an acupuncturist or, something like that. So if you're gonna become an actor in LA, then a key component to all of it is having a survival gig, or at least being willing to obtain one pretty soon in the process. Now you can come here right away and, like I say, get some other jobby job and use that to fund your initial startup of your acting career. But pretty soon after that, you're gonna need to be willing to deal with some of that less money, perhaps, in order to trade that for the flexibility necessary to go out on auditions. So if you're going to become an actor in LA, make sure you get yourself a good survival gig, or be willing to. All right? See you on the next video.